Have you ever wondered why most people have no idea what's about to happen? Despite our intelligence, our ability to plan, to strategize, and to learn from our past, we humans often find ourselves blindsided by the future. Why is it that we can't seem to accurately predict what's around the corner? Let's delve into this a bit. The world we live in, life as we know it, is complex. It's an intricate web of interconnected events, actions, and reactions. This complexity creates a multitude of possible outcomes, each one influenced by a myriad of factors. It's like trying to predict the path of a single leaf in a storm. There are just too many variables at play. Furthermore, the world is in constant flux. Change is the only true constant. Our environment, society, technology, even our own bodies and minds are perpetually evolving. This relentless change makes prediction even more challenging. What may have been a solid bet yesterday might be a long shot today. So even if we could somehow manage to get a handle on all the variables, they're shifting and changing all the time. And then there's the limitation of our own knowledge and understanding. We know a lot, sure, but there's so much more that we don't know. We're discovering new things about our world, about ourselves every single day. There are still so many mysteries left to unravel. Despite our advancements, there are limits to what we can know and understand. There are things that are simply beyond our current grasp. So, we find ourselves in a state of perpetual uncertainty, navigating through life with a compass that often seems to have a mind of its own. We make plans, we strategize, we learn from our past, and yet the future remains elusive. So it seems that the future remains a mystery. But why is that? Scene script. Why do we often find ourselves surprised by what the future brings? Well, there's something called the Predictability Paradox that might shed some light on this mystery. This paradox suggests that as we strive harder and harder to predict and control the future, it ironically becomes more unpredictable. Imagine for a moment that you're trying to predict the outcome of a coin flip. Theoretically, if you knew everything about the coin, the air, the force applied, and so on, you might be able to predict it correctly. But the real world isn't as simple. There are countless variables, many beyond our comprehension or control, that influence the future. This is where the concept of randomness comes into play. Randomness is the idea that some events are unpredictable because of the sheer number of variables involved. It's like trying to predict the exact pattern that smoke will take as it rises from a fire. There are just too many factors at play, many of which are constantly changing. Now, let's add another layer of complexity with chaos theory. Chaos theory is the study of how small changes can have large effects in complex systems. It's often symbolized by the idea that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil can cause a tornado in Texas. The idea here is that even if we could account for all the variables, the future would still be unpredictable because even the smallest changes can lead to drastically different outcomes. So what does this mean for our attempts to predict the future? It means that while we can make educated guesses based on patterns and trends, we must also acknowledge that the future is inherently uncertain. It's not something that can be neatly calculated or controlled. This doesn't mean we should give up on trying to shape our futures. Instead, it prompts us to embrace the unpredictability, to be adaptable, and to prepare for a range of possibilities. Indeed, the future is not a simple equation that can be easily solved. But what about technology? Doesn't it help us predict the future? Indeed, technology has transformed our lives in numerous ways, and one such transformation is its impact on our ability to forecast the future. It's undeniable that advancements in tech, particularly artificial intelligence and machine learning, have significantly boosted our forecasting capabilities. These technologies have enabled us to delve deeper into complex data sets, uncovering patterns and trends that might have otherwise remained hidden. From predicting stock market trends to forecasting weather patterns, technology has certainly upped the game in terms of prediction. Let's take a closer look at machine learning, for instance. It's a branch of artificial intelligence that learns from past data and makes predictions about the future. It's like having a super smart assistant that can analyze a dizzying amount of information and make sense of it all. Machine learning algorithms are now being used in a variety of fields to make predictions, from healthcare to finance, and even in our day-to-day lives, like predicting what movie you might want to watch next. But, as impressive as these technologies are, they come with their own set of limitations. For starters, these prediction models are only as good as the data they're trained on. If the data is flawed or biased, the predictions will be too. Moreover, these technologies can sometimes make the future even more unpredictable. This is because they can lead to unforeseen consequences, or what we often refer to as black swan events. These are events that are extremely rare and difficult to predict and yet have monumental impacts. An example of this is the financial crisis of 2008. Sophisticated algorithms were used to assess risk in the financial markets, but they failed to predict the crash. This highlights the fact that, while technology can help us understand and predict certain aspects of the future, it can't foresee everything. In conclusion, while technology, with its advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning, has indeed improved our forecasting abilities, it's not infallible. It's not a magic crystal ball that can predict the future with absolute certainty. It can help us make educated guesses, but it can't remove the inherent unpredictability of the future. So, technology can help, but it's not a magic crystal ball. So, if the future is so unpredictable, how should we approach it? Well, the answer might not be what you're expecting. It's not about predicting every possible outcome or trying to control what's beyond our reach. It's about embracing uncertainty. Yes, you heard that right. Embracing uncertainty. Uncertainty, while often viewed as a source of stress, can also be a catalyst for growth and innovation. It pushes us outside of our comfort zones and challenges us to adapt and evolve. It's the breeding ground for creativity where new ideas are born and thrive. But how do we embrace something that is inherently uncomfortable? How do we prepare for a future that's shrouded in the unknown? The first step is adaptability. The ability to adjust to new conditions, to roll with the punches, is absolutely vital. This means being open to change, being willing to learn new things, and being resilient in the face of adversity. Staying informed is also crucial. The more we know, the better equipped we are to handle whatever comes our way. This isn't about predicting the future, but about understanding the world around us. It's about staying curious, asking questions, and never stop learning. Making contingency plans is another practical way to prepare for the future. This is about acknowledging that things might not always go as planned, and having a backup plan in place just in case. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. But perhaps the most important thing to remember is this: uncertainty is not something to be feared, but to be embraced. It's a reminder that the future is not set in stone, that it's full of endless possibilities. It's a chance to shape our own destiny, to make the most of every opportunity that comes our way. Embracing uncertainty, therefore, may be the key to navigating the future. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. We started our journey by acknowledging the unseen future, a realm of endless possibilities, yet shrouded in mystery. A place full of potentials and pitfalls, where the only constant is change. We recognize that despite our best efforts, the future remains largely unpredictable, defying even the most sophisticated of forecasts. Our journey then took us to the Predictability Paradox. We explored how, despite the inherent unpredictability of the future, we humans have an innate desire to predict and control what lies ahead. We learned that this paradox is not a barrier but rather a catalyst for innovation and progress. It's a paradox that drives us to better understand the world around us and to seek solutions to the challenges we face. We then delved into the role of technology. We discussed how technology, with its rapid evolution and transformative power, is a key player in shaping the future. From the smallest microchip to the vast expanse of the internet, technology is constantly redefining our lives and the world we live in. It's an ever-evolving landscape that offers countless opportunities, but also presents new challenges and uncertainties. In our final leg, we embraced uncertainty. We acknowledge that uncertainty is not something to fear, but rather to accept and learn from. It's a reminder that the future is not set in stone, but is a canvas on which we can paint our own destiny. It's a call to action, urging us to take charge of our lives and to make the most of the opportunities that come our way. As we conclude this journey, let's remember that while the future might be a mystery, it's not entirely out of our hands. We might not be able to predict it with absolute certainty, but we can certainly influence it. We have the power to shape our destiny, to adapt and evolve, to learn and grow. Remember, the future might be a mystery, but that doesn't mean we can't prepare for it. After all, the best way to predict the future is to create it.